Oh, oh God. That sucks. Gee. All right. Hello, everybody. Hello, Doris. Hello, S. Welcome back to Witch on the Holy Night. Last time, everything seemed to be just going hunky-dory. At the Kuonji estate, I'm okay. Just things got caught in my throat. However, we have the timely arrival of a new person who is very likely the sister of Aoko, who was mentioned before. And she has a full-ass character design and was also, pretty sure the woman who was very scared. Who actually scared Sojiro at the gambling parlor. Yeah, last time they went to the aquarium to just chill out after an argument. Sojiro bought them tickets to go together.
Hazaki isn't home right now.
She is very pretty. She smiled again, this time deviously upon learning of Aoko's absence. Then I take it Miss Kuonji is away too. Sojiro looked perplexed. It was the first time he heard Alice refer to her by her last name only, and again with the familiarity of an old friend. I see. It's nice to hear that they can get out during the day instead of only during the dead of night. I was under the impression that living together was merely a facade, but they really do get along. Sojiro found himself nodding in response to her smile. It was strange enough that the visitor knew both Aoko and Alice, but Sojiro found her odd as well. Likely in her early 20s, she did not appear much older than he was. She was clearly hiding something behind her nonchalant manner and bright smile. So they won't be home until this evening, then?
That's correct. Though I expect them back before the last train.
I see. And who might you be? Ooh, yeah, that's going to be complicated to explain. Sojiro, troubled by her forwardness, went to ask her the same. Alas, who are you was a question far too difficult for Sojiro.
I'm sorry. I don't really know how to answer that.
Yeah. Seriously.
For now, I'm the house sitter. I'm a friend of Aozaki's, to tell the truth.
It was a response without an ounce of persuasion to it. The young woman's face lit up as what she believed was the boy's attempt to tease her. Aren't you a funny one? What's your name, dear? Hello, Gyro. Welcome to the stream.
It's Sojiro Suzuki.
His shy answer made her giggle. Sojiro had no idea what he said was so funny, but her laugh did not offend him. It came across as warm and affable rather than derogatory. Then, after she finished giggling, the woman fixed him with a rather tender look. Hello, at Pism, welcome to the stream. I think I like you. Sojiro, was it? Hello, Dustblight. Welcome to the stream.
君には合わない名前だけど、それも暗示的で素敵だし。じゃあ、そういうわけで、お茶でも入れてくれない？
Hypnosis. So does she think he's hypnotized? Is that? I guess that's. I guess that's what she's assuming right now. A fine name for hypnosis, though it doesn't really suit you. Now then, pour me some tea, would you?
あ、いや、
Huh? Wait.
She ziplights him into the house, boldly striding through the entrance hall.
うわ、呆れた。ほんと以前のまんまじゃない。
Wow, it's just as I remember it.
せっかくこっちに持ってきたんだから、悪いところはリフォームしたものと思ったけど、何も柱の歪みまで再現しなくてもいいのにね。
I thought you would have at least repaired the damaged pieces. Or was taking the trouble to bring them all the way here. I would have fixed up the warped columns at least. She's very forward, despite her appearance. The visitor cheerfully inspected the foyer. Sojiro still stood at the entrance. The clicking of her heels on the wooden floor echoed as she moved toward the drawing room.
どうしたの？
Damn!
今は。
Why are you standing there? The drawing room is this way, isn't it? She is classy. Wowzers. Holy shit. Damn. Wow. She disappeared from the foyer into the drawing room, oddly familiar with the layout of the house.
青崎かアリス、どっちかの先輩かな。
Does she know Ozaki from school? Or maybe she knows Alice.
Sojiro muttered to himself, walking in the drawing room. He entered to see the woman walking around the room gleefully. Like someone strolling down a park boulevard, she peered around, breathing in the nostalgia, twirling with ladylike or rather girlish glee.
よく見れば、このテレビって。
Sanny. Hmm? Wait a minute. This TV is... She stared at the television inquisitively. Perhaps she'd never seen a 30-inch television before. Awkwardly for Sojiro, the cathode ray tube was still displaying images of the animal kingdom. He'd wish he stopped the video before he answered the door.
もし、
May I?
He blurted half a question, attempting to regain his composure. There were many questions to be answered, but he first resolved to ask her name at the very least. The woman turned a coldly observant gaze on him. Her intimidating eyes and long, thin eyebrows bored into Sojiro through her spectacles. Sojiro had intended no offense, but now he felt like he had chosen his words very poorly. He apologetically clammed up. Then,
やだな、宗十郎くん。もしなんてかしこまって。
wow, wow. I still gotta say, 10 out of 10 character design. Jeez Louise. Wow. Wow. I'm sorry, but wow. Come now, Sojiro. May I? Really?
私そんなおばさんに見える？
Do I look like some old lady to you? No, you do not. She snickered. Hello, Dynastips. Welcome to the stream. Her disapproving glare melted into a teasing smile. I have played Fate Extra, but it was ages ago. I barely remember it. I remember like a couple of the characters. I mostly remember Rin and the Nero Saber and obviously Archer. So if she was in and I didn't beat the game either. I only got so far in. So yeah, I don't remember if she was in that game. Of course, this wasn't true at all. It would be more accurate to say she had the air of an older sister. Ding, ding, ding. Right there. Or at least that was what Sojiro attempted to express with body language, to which she grinned smugly.
よろしい。ならそんな他人行儀な話し方はやめましょう。つまらないし、柄じゃないわ。
Very well. Let's do away with the formalities, shall we? They're beginning to bore me anyway. Hello, Blink. Welcome to the stream. Without making a sound, she took an effortless seat on the sofa, as naturally as if she belonged there. Her posture and movements exuded sophistication. And she required no words to instruct him to hurry along and make the tea. Yeah, she is literally a knockout. Like, my God. Jesus Christ. Without pressing her further, Sojiro headed to the kitchen. I want her to slam me against a wall. What? I didn't say anything. It seemed that the conversation would not proceed until tea had been served. He chose the fauchon he was forced to replace once before, after using it without permission. Since she was here to see Aoko, he decided to serve her using Aoko's Sevres teacup. Into the cup as blue as the ocean depths, he carefully poured the tea before returning to the drawing room. Hello, Kai. Welcome to the stream. Gently placed the teacup on the table and faced the woman.
尋ねるのが遅れましたけど、青崎の知り合いかな。
Forgive me for not asking earlier, but should I take it that you're an acquaintance of Aozaki's or whatever?
Despite being told otherwise, Sojiro could not help but stand on ceremony. His clumsy effort to make the question sound casual only jumbled it up further. The visitor's eyes narrowed again in displeasure.
その青崎っていうのをやめてくれない？なんだかくすぐったくて。青子でいいでしょ？呼び方は。
That's what I mean. Would you stop calling her Aozaki? It's beginning to grate on me. Just use Aoko. The woman kept the rest of her expression indifferent, as she slowly raised the cup to take a sip. Smiling, she tolerated the tea that Aoko and Alice regularly criticized as bitter and clumsily brewed. Hello, Spheromancer, welcome to the stream. Sojiro had yet to learn that society thoughtfully awarded participation trophies to people merely for trying, regardless of the outcome.
ほら、立ってないで座って。見下ろされるのは好きじゃないんだ、私。
Come, don't stand there, sit. I don't like being looked down on. Sojiro tilted his head, noting a slight familiarity to her manner of speech. It was almost as if they've met somewhere before. Hello, Lestat, welcome to the stream.
Wait.
The sight of her sitting on the sofa began to stir forgotten memories. Noting his reaction, the woman became visibly delighted.
思い出した？私もちょっと驚いたわ。
You remember me? I can tell you I was surprised as you are.
青子を訪ねに来たらいつか見た君が出迎えてくるんだから。
I came all the way here to see Aoko, and instead I find you standing there to greet me.
Oh,
Now that she was chuckling, Soju remembered everything. He'd only glimpsed her for a moment. Yep, it was the same lady. But there was no mistaking it. It had to be her, the woman smoking the long cigarette who had cleaned out the pachinko parlor.
あの時は私もショックだったな。
Oh, wow. So she would use like one of those like old-fashioned like cigarette holders that make the cigarette longer. Damn. You gave me the fright that day, Sojiro.
宗十郎君、目が合うなりいきなり逃げ出したでしょ。
You took one look at me and ran away.
そんなに私ってこわもてなのかしらって、あの日の晩は真剣に悩んだんだから。
How terrifying you must think I am, reacting like that. You hurt my feelings, you know. In spite of her words, she clearly enjoyed the memory. She was right. He'd mistaken her for the murderous shadow, Aoko, in the park from the previous night and fled in mortal terror. That's hilarious. So that was the reason why he was scared. Oh my god. Even though it's clearly a case of mistaken identity, he could now see why he had mixed them up. My god. It's like... I'm just thinking of, like, Aoko growing up in this family. She must have, like, very little confidence in her own looks if this is her sister. Like, can you imagine? Like, Aoko is very pretty. But, like, growing up with her as an older sister, she must have, like, far, far less confidence in her looks than she should. Like, Jesus Christ.
so that's why. They feel similar.
Finally, Sojiro realized who the visitor was. He chided himself for not realizing it sooner.
それじゃあ、あなたは
You must be.
Just as he was about to say it, she held up her hand to interrupt him. She pointed at him like she was aiming a gun.
ごめんなさい。君の仕草がちょっと可愛くて、からかいが過ぎちゃった。
Forgive me. Your reaction was just so cute. I got carried away teasing you.
自己紹介が遅れたけど、私は青崎瞳子。
Ah, lovely name. It's a little late, but my name is Toko Aozaki.
率直に言うと、青子の実の姉ってわけね。
Surprise? I'm Aoko's big sister. That figured. No wonder you've been charmed at first sight. Ah. Ah. It wasn't hard to envision Toko as a not too distant future version of Aoko, with her smile that imparted courage to any who glimpsed it. Only, well, their personalities are completely different. While Aoko was earnest and diligent, Toko seemed to be shrewd and playful.
あの子が困ってるって聞いてね。
I heard my sister was in trouble,
いい加減忠告してあげる気ではるばるやってきたわけなのでした。
so I came all the way over here to set her straight. Damn, she looks like she is loaded, honestly. Like, that dress looks like it costs a fortune. Aoko's sister chuckled coyly while sipping her tea. Lured by her charm, Sojiro sat on the sofa as well. He felt like he could relax a little, now that the initial shock of an unexpected guest subsided. Just like that, it was almost 5 in the afternoon. Aoko and Alice will be returning from their excursion soon. Oh my... Oh, wow! Only subway line. Underground witch fight, let's go! This was Misaki City's only subway line. Only half a year had passed since its opening. And at the end of the fairly new platform, there the two girls stood. The time was 6:30 in the evening. So I assume the subway line connects them with the rest of Japan. But I thought they took like an overland monorail, though. They had been idling for around 20 minutes since returning from Arasaka and have yet to return to street level.
Aoko.
Aoko. There was a hint of irritation in Alice's voice.
ちょっと待って。あともう一回だけ。ね。
I'm not done yet. Just one more, okay? Aoko begged Alice, hands together trembling from the cold. It was rare to see her act this childish. No doubt Toby Mara would consider this favor more strange than cute if he were here. From the end of the platform, Aoko appeared in the creeping darkness to where the tracks led.
あなたの趣味変わってるわ。
You have the strangest taste. Did she like buy a present for Sojiro? Alice muttered, sitting on the bench with forbearance. Any other day and she would have been fine heading back by herself. But today she was in a good mood and decided to humor Aoko. Knowing full well that her rare spells of positivity were about as fragile as freshly fallen snow, she hoped to go home while she was still in high spirits. Eyes closed, her placid demeanor conveyed her feelings well enough. Thus, the two of them waited on the platform alone, for a subway train they had no intention of riding. Huh, I wonder why they're there. The subway had only recently opened for service. The people of Misaki were humble folk, and for now few passengers were drawn to the novelty and high prices of the new train. Thanks to the low foot traffic, the platform was still as good as new. Hold on, I just need to get some honey. I will be right back. All right, there we go. Should be good to go. Just some honey for my throat. And there was something primeval about a subway devoid of people. It was a picture of tranquility, free of human interference. Not just silent, but lifeless. This was a realm unmolested by living creatures, where only speechless organisms dwelt. The harshly artificial fluorescent lighting underscored its soullessness. It was a cave where light ended and shadows began, where riderless vessels disappeared into the dark. The platform was wedged between two tracks, like a jetty built upon a subterranean sea. In this place, far removed from the world above, Aoko waited with eyes closed for the familiar rumble. It was she who had proposed that they delay their return and rest at the platform. The reason was simple. Aoko Ozaki enjoyed the soothing sound of passing subway trains. I could totally see that. Although, on a platform without any people, I think it would feel a bit creepy, wouldn't it? Like if there's no other people on the platform, like getting off and on. If there's no like background sound of people talking. I think it would feel a bit creepy.
今年はもうライブハウスに行けそうもないし、これぐらいのわがままはいいでしょ。
I probably won't get to see any more live bands this year, so at least let me have this, she had said to Alice, her eyes still closed. Alice had neither nodded nor objected, and so they'd watched 3 trains come and go. Silence fell again. Aoko waited for the next train with anticipation. Like, my son loves to watch trains, so I could totally see that. Alice sat and stared at the tunnel wall patiently. According to the display board, the next train was due to arrive in 5 minutes. From the dark tunnel came wind and rumbling. Uh-oh. Monsters. A purposefully placed bounded field now surrounded the platform. There was no sign of any station personnel, and entrances and exits were few and narrow. The lack of bystanders made the field hardly necessary. Suddenly, 6 figures appeared in front of the stairs to the surface. Uh-oh. They all shared the same face, or more magic bots. Motionless and with smiles like the crescent moon, they stared at Aoko and Alice. Time for a fight. I can't believe I missed that. Alice let out a quiet, dejected sigh. Alice? What's wrong?
どうも何も。この駅で降りたのはあなたと私だけなの。気づいていた。
Must you ask? Didn't you notice that you and I were the only ones to get off at this station? I do wonder who the enemy is, because it's not going to be someone they pull out of their ass at the end, right? I think it's the teacher. I think it's like Mr. Miyashiro. That's the bad guy. Right, like, because they're hyping up this mysterious background villain that keeps just sending robots. And it's a very small cast, so it's either one of the people at the church or Aizen. Yep, the Aizen teacher, yep. That's my guess. Yeah, Nox. Yeah, Nox. Nox rules. Must you ask? Didn't you notice that you and I were the only ones to get off at this station?
そりゃね、相変わらずここの地下鉄ってば利用客が少ないって。
I mean, this subway's usually pretty dead anyway, so... Ah, it's me! It's Robin! Oh, I was the bad guy the whole time! Hilarious Fearomancer. Aoko trailed off, tutting in annoyance.
で、そういうアリスはいつ気がついたの？
So, what tipped you off?
憂鬱なことにたった今よ。
Yeah, I remember that as well, Just Play. Yeah, in Fate, the teacher was the bad guy as well. Though that might imply that it's not going to be him this time. The impending gloom I felt a moment ago.
青子ばかり責められないわね。あなたと私が一つならこんなこともなかったの。
Ooh, are we going to have some team building exercises after this? That would be cool. I'm not entirely blaming you. This wouldn't have happened if we were a better team.
つまらない例え話は口にし。
Enough sniveling. They traded stoic and calm words, never moving or making eye contact. In contrast, the figures near the stairs began to stir, as though regressing from primates to wild beasts. They dropped prone in unison and scrambled forth like man-sized ants. They advanced as a stream, one after another. Soon the clattering came not just from the platform entrances, but from the subway tunnel as well. Oh shit. Fucking creepy ass dolls. At a glance, they numbered at least 30 strong. The eerie skittering multiplied, echoing off the subway walls.
信じられない。これだけの自動人形集めたらうちどころかフランスの一等地も買えるんじゃない？
This is ridiculous. Forget Masaki. With this many automata, you could take over all of southern France.
ええ。もっともこんな出来じゃ買い手は見つからないでしょうけど。
True, but I doubt there will be much demand for dolls of such poor quality.
なんだ、ガラクタはガラクタか。
Junk is junk, after all. One of the horde leapt forward in response to Aoko's insult. It was a sudden charge, like a hurtling dump truck. Alice remained still, as though expecting the attack. Aoko swung her right arm in an arc. The blue missile of light was easily repelled. Uh-oh. Oh no. Shit, are they like magic-proof coating or something? Her magic bullet snap had little to no effect on the puppets. They scrambled over each other like frogs, heads jerking and twisting in search of prey.
全部で30か。悪いけど一人でやらせてもらうわよ、アリス。この前の実力と思われたままじゃ不愉快だ。
I count 30 total. Sorry, Alice, but I'm gonna need you to hang back. I can't have you thinking last time was my best. It seems like to me, their powers complement each other. Like, Alice is a fantastic support. And Aoko is clearly the DPS here. As she spoke to Alice, who was still sitting on a bench, Aoko stepped towards the edge of the platform. Among the myriad regrets that she still had from the amusement park, the House of Mirrors stung the most. She had been caught off guard in her last battle against that puppet. But today she'd come prepared, and she had Alice as a backup. Aoko ignited her magic crest. This time she would restore her honor and...
私の後ろまで下がって青子。そこにいたらあなたまで食べてしまう。
Never mind, it's Alice's time to use a different ploy. Let's see. Get behind me, Aoko. It'll eat you too if you stand there. All it took to stop Aoko was one raised finger. Alice, wait, you can't! In the depths of the ocean black, the bells of night chimed out. The jetty, as if embraced by a sea god like Poseidon or Watatsumi, became awash with white. White motes would seem to engulf everything. You always leave a mess, Aoko. Not to mention the next train will be arriving soon. And... She looks pissed. Behind the white veil, her form blurred and stretched upward. She was like a melancholy ballerina. The figures surrounding the prima ballerina bustled in response to the strange aura. Though puppets were inhuman mystical vessels, they had far more reason to fear Alice than they did the human Aoko. They began to flee. Whoever their master was, they sensed enough danger to order a retreat. However, it was too late. The dancers were captivated by their prima, transfixed in place, as if their Achilles tendons had been severed. Besides, it wasn't just you who ruined my mood. She removed her black glove. Unlike her subdued demeanor at the mansion, Alice's aura away from home was a biting, frigid blizzard that none could approach. Her discarded gloves floated down, settling on the platform deck. The pale haze grew even thicker. Terrified, the massive shadows cried out for mercy. Now, let us play make-believe. Ooh, that looks creepy. Within the nebulous mist, a dark fairy tale came to life. Inside that fog, only the macabre melody of her voice felt real. Damn. And you said Aoko left a mess. Cheers. Feast. Grind. Crunch. At last, the final puppet fell. On the walls, on the floor, on the ceiling. Looks like a fucking horror movie set. The grotesque mechanical sounds of their demise filled the air. Their twisted shrieks plastered the subway surfaces like indelible bloodstains. Some amorphous abomination had, hastily, yet just slowly enough to savor the taste, chewed and devoured all 30 puppets. Only a lone severed arm remained on the platform. New York subway. London. Yeah, now it looks more like real subway. You had that thing on you this whole time? Aoko spoke sideways to Alice, making no attempt to hide her disgust. The brutal gluttony they'd witnessed just had a name. It was the Beast of the Fog, one of her three great ploys kickshaw. The Mindster's Rosehound, the Wandersnatch. Aoko's words stung, since Alice was the one harboring its true form. The great three ploys wielded terrifyingly powerful curses. While Wandersnatch had its uses in combat, Aoko was not all amused to learn that her companion had been carrying it around town all day. Without hyperbole, it was akin to going out for dinner with a bunker buster bomb in one's pocket.
まあ、次からは一言お願いね。
Just tell me next time, okay?
他のプロイならいいけど、今のやつだけは別よ。できれば洋館限定にしてほしいぐらい。
Other ploys are fine, but not that one. Try to leave it at home, would you?
悪かったわ。でも、最近何も食べさせてなかったから。
I apologize. It's just that I haven't let him feed lately, so... Damn. Alice walked slowly toward the severed arm. Indeed, all she'd done was feed her ploy. No one had died and no blood had been shed, since the meal was made of plastic. What do you call all this shit around here, then?
Aoko, ちょっと。
Aoko, over here. Alice picked up the arm and beckoned Aoko over.
これを見て。私たちは今まで相手を人形使いと思っていたけど、正確には違ったみたい。
Look at this. Until now we were thinking our opponent was a puppet master. But I think we were wrong.
わかる？この人形たちは新しすぎる。
Can you see it? These puppets are too new.
この子たちが作られたのは17世紀以後よ。それはそれで信じがたいことだけど。
That's new? Huh. They must have been made no earlier than the 17th century. Even that seems hard to believe.
なんですって？
What did you just say? Although it sounded counterintuitive, automata typically perform better with age. Really? Huh, they're like wine? Since the 17th century, the magical concept of using puppets and mannequins had declined. Consequently, it became much harder to produce combat-effective automata. If one wanted to build an automaton these days, it was far more cost-effective to train even a low-class familiar, and it would be better constructed, too. Therefore, it was common for modern puppet masters to collect parts made before the 17th century and use them in their creations. The high price of automata often came not from their antiquated combat abilities, but from the rarity of the parts used to make them. Despite that, the enemy mage controlling these puppets used them as fodder as if they grew on trees, so they got cash to burn. The only conclusion to be drawn was that their current opponent was a spoiled upstart with wealth, but no territory. Or so Alice and Aoko imagined anyway.
それともう一つ。
There's something else.
この構造は三崎市の結界に似ているわ。
The internal formulae reminded me of Misaki's bounded field.
まるで自分たちこそがこの町を守る兵士だって主張するぐらい。
It's as if their maker is asserting that these are the rightful defenders of our city. Alice presented the evidence to Aoko, who was still waving fog out of her face. The revelation stirred profound surprise, and then rapid realization.
そういうことなのね。
I see. Now I get it. Ooh, so it's a bit staking their claim. Aoko growled, violently smashing the arm on the ground. Her face twisted with anger and a hint of fear.
惜しげもなく骨董品を出してくると思ったら、そもそも出し惜しむほどのものじゃなかったわけか。
She didn't bother holding back any of her knickknacks because they weren't worth keeping in reserve to begin with.
ち、確かにあの女なら町の結界にも反応しないし、私の欠点も知ってて当然。
How do you know
指
it's
定
a
の退去だって簡単にやってのけるわよね。
How do you know it's a girl? That's why the town's barrier didn't have any effect on her. And if she knew my weaknesses, no wonder she found and removed the sigil so easily.
だって。
I should have known. Alice quietly listened to Aoko's furious rambling, bemused.
青子、これを作ったのはそうなの。
Aoko? So you're saying the one who made these is none other than...
ええ、昔から物を作ることに関してずば抜けていたから
are
ね。
they seriously
あの人
saying?
は。
Wait, but they just introduced her! Really? That's right. When it came to making things, she always had me beat. Really? Huh. Oh, wow. Okay. Aoko glared at the severed arm. She was furious at its creator, and herself for taking so long to figure it out.
でも、ようやく合点がいった。
But it all adds up now.
認めたくないけど、今回の敵は間違いなく私の姉貴。
Really? Huh. As much as I hate to admit it, our current enemy is my big sister, no doubt about it.
この土地の元継承者、青崎東子その人よ、アリス。
She's the one who was meant to inherit our land, Alice. The desolate subway platform returned to silence. Aoko's words lingering uncomfortably in the air. Really? Huh. Okay. They just introduced her, though. Jeez. Oh, okay. The world's most terrifying animals. Now that FNAF-looking thing looks scarier than a real crocodile. A short time ago at the Kuonji estate, the videotape finished playing. The VCR had automatically stopped playback, forgoing the need to hit the stop button to avoid the static storm. What remained on screen was the reflection of Sotaro and Toko Azaki, sitting opposite each other in conversation.
秘密を知られたから先生なしの直接攻撃ね。怪獣作を考えもしないのは青子らしいけど。
A direct attack without warning, because a secret was exposed. Aoko never did play well with others. She seems really nice. It was hard to tell if she was being patronizing or indifferent. Toko Aozaki took a sip from her cup as she listened to Sojiro's story. She would have savored the anecdote about the amusement park kerfuffle, were it not for the poor excuse of a cup of tea in her hands.
ありがとう。参考になったわ。
Thank you for that. I feel so informed.
ここしばらく青子とは顔を合わせていなかったから、あの子がどんな風に成長したかなんて想像するしかなかったし。
I haven't seen Aoko in ages, so I can only imagine the kind of woman she's grown into.
それと一応肉親として謝っておかないとね。
And as her sister, the least I can do is apologize.
災難に付き合わせて悪かったわ、宗十郎くん。
I'm sorry you had to experience such a tragic event, Sojiro.
ほんと、あの子ったら昔から迷いってものがなかったから。
That girl does have a tendency to be rather headstrong.
なさすぎると思います。
You said it.
Oh my god! Sojiro was enjoying the conversation despite having to relive those events. About an hour passed by while the two of them sat in conversation. Now they're short on topics to discuss. Aoko was an easy topic for both of them, so the conversation centered mostly around her.
ところで、さっきから気になってることがあるんだけど、聞いていいかな？
By the way, I've been curious about something, and I hope you don't mind me asking. While she kept her posture dignified, Toko's eyes shone with eager curiosity. Her elegance caused Sojiro's heart to beat a little faster. Yeah, no kidding.
気になってることですか？
Curious. About what?
Despite his caution, he found himself speaking politely. She smiled affectionately, as if she found him pleasing.
ええ、一度目はダッシュで逃げられて驚いたけど、今日は違った意味で驚かされた。
Well, you see, you surprised me the last time when you ran away, but today I'm surprised by something new.
ね、そういうのが若い子たちの流行りなの？
Is that some kind of in vogue fashion accessory?
はい。
Come again?
Toko tilted her head, her eyes fixated on the collar Aoko had snugly secured around his neck.
新手のチョーカー？でもどこから見ても、ほら。
Is that a new style of choker? You know, I could swear it was a... The bespectacled woman made a show of holding her tongue. On a completely unrelated note, in another decade, similar accessories would become a standard part of any visual kei artist's wardrobe. Yeah, I was thinking of that. Like, that's not... It's not exactly that uncommon for, like, you know, like, some wild fashion styles.
まさかどこから見ても首輪ですよ、犬用の。
Oh, not at all. It's obviously a collar for dogs.
やっぱり？けどその首はすごく可愛いわ。よく似合ってるけど、自分でつけたの？
I knew it. It's rather charming and very much suits you, I might add. Did you put it on yourself? Toko stared intently, examining the strap. While he had never been very conscious of the collar till now, for some reason Sojiro found himself blushing.
はい。つけたのは自分ですけど。
Yeah, I put it on by myself.
そうじゃなくて、誰からもらったの？青子？それともクオンジさん？
No, silly. I mean, who gave it to you? Was it Aoko? Or perhaps Miss Kuonji?
くれたのは青子ですね。
Aoko gave it to me.
Toko nodded in satisfaction at Sojiro's candid response.
つまり、君は青子の持ち物なわけか。
That makes you Aoko's property. She coldly muttered. With this, the cordial atmosphere began to turn. Sojiro nodded, naturally oblivious to the edge in her words.
何でも所有されてるそうです。
She does like to own things.
The blunt observation made Toko burst out laughing. Apparently, Toko was the quirky type of person to laugh when least appropriate. As her laugh tapered off into a giggle, she picked up on her now empty teacup.
じゃあこれも青子のでしょ。青っていう名前にコンプレックスがあるくせに青いものが割と好きだから。
So this must belong to Aoko as well? How funny, considering she hates blue things on account of the blue character in her name.
そうですけど、おかわりしますか？
Yeah, that's right. Would you like another cup?
二人ともまだ帰ってきそうにありませんから。
I'm not sure when they'll be back.
いいえ、そろそろ帰ってくる頃よ。そういう風に仕向けたから。
No, thank you. Actually, they'll be returning shortly, as I calculated. Sojiro nodded along heedlessly. Finally, the strangeness of her phrasing dawned on him, and he tilted his head in confusion.
トウコさん、
Like, there's a big question here. Didn't Aoko say that her sister had refused to inherit the family magic? Like, what is going on now? She clearly does have magic, and she's trying to get the... Like, did she, like, change her mind, like, in a big way for some reason? It's so weird. Like, what exactly is going on? That, like, this seems like the opposite behavior for someone who literally gave up the family thing to Aoko. It doesn't add up. Maybe it's not actually her? I don't know.
Miss Toko?
Toko sighed once.
ごめんね、宗十郎くん。メガネ外してもいいかしら。
Really? Oh, well, if you have to. Forgive me, Sojiro, but would you allow me to take off my glasses? He wondered why she would need to ask this permission, but not anyway. If you have to.
それじゃあお言葉に甘えて。
That's very kind of you.
もう少しぐらいは君の反応を見ていたかったけど。
Is she about to go beast mode? Though, I do wish I could have enjoyed more of your hospitality. Toko touched the temples of her glasses. If one were to look closely enough, one might have noticed the scars on her slender fingers. There were small, fine scars from years of repeated cuts. Oh shit. But where her fingers even left the eyeglass from frames, the spectacles crumbled. No! No! It happened so fast that Sojiro barely registered it. The frame cracked into pieces, sliding down her face and into her lap.
やるもんだ。30体を一瞬とはね。
Kudos to you, sister. 30 in one go. Not bad. Oh, wow. The low voice belonged to someone entirely different. All she had done was take off her glasses, for her elegant grace had completely faded. Any semblance of warmth and kindness had disappeared. Sitting upon the sofa was a deplorable mage, her very presence darkening the room. Sojiro sat speechless. Across from him was a completely changed Toko, glaring back at him menacingly. More malice and magical energy was now emanating from Toko than when Aoko tried to kill Sojiro. She seemed titillated at the prospect of the boy's shock at her transformation. Such expectations, however, were often left unfulfilled when it came to Sojiro.
メガネ壊れましたね。
You, broke your glasses.
Hello, Assassin Dragon. Welcome to the stream. Sojiro blurted out in surprise. Still very cute. Her hand stopped as she reached for a cigarette, the wind taken out of her sails.
もったいない。大丈夫ですかそれ。
That was unfortunate. Do you have another pair?
いや、そんなものはいいんだ。多少視力が落ちたところで大ごとにはならないし。
No, forget them. It's not as if I actually need them to see correctly.
そもそも私がある限り、五感による情報にすら主観が入る。すべてこの世は霧の中だ。もともと目に見えるだけのものは信じていないたちでね。
As long as myself exists, data is received subjectively by my five senses. The entire world is in a fog. You shouldn't trust what you can only see with your eyes. Oh, wowzers. Wow. Two for the price of one. Wow. Nice. Her speech had taken on a clinical tone. This too did not seem to shake Sojiro.
そうですか。それでさっきの言葉の意味ですけど。
Right. So what you're saying is...
Sojiro began forming another question, unflinchingly. Toko scowled as she found a bug in her food. After some consideration, she came to the conclusion that she needed to be blunt with the boy. By some twist of fate, it was a headache she now unknowingly shared with her sister. Sojiro is too dense! Oh my god.
意味も何もない。青子たちの帰り道に多少の障害を置いただけだ。私がここにいる間は外で足止めをするように。
It's like this, Sojiro. I placed some obstacles in Aoko's way. I'm only here now because she's still dealing with them.
君は青子の持ち物だと言ったな。ならことさら丁寧に教えてやる必要もない。告白してしまうとね、宗十郎君。私が君たちの敵なんだ。
As I mentioned, you are merely a property. So I won't worry that pretty little head of yours. I must confess, dear Sojiro, I am your enemy. Though he understood her words, the clock's second hand would rotate fully twice over before anyone next spoke. They sat across from each other, eyes locked. Sojiro's shoulders tightened nervously. He had finally understood the true danger of the situation.
驚いた。
Surprised? Toko asked with a grin. She was still the same woman, but without her glasses. Toko's smile was rather sinister.
あなたは青崎の姉なのに。
Even though you're Ozaki's sister?
Her smile pierced him as he asked the obvious. Toko was no longer surprised that Sojiro would be more concerned about the safety of others than his own. In just one short hour, she had come to understand Sojiro Suzuki better than he knew himself.
逆だよ。姉だから敵なんだ。私には青子からあらゆる権利を奪う義務がある。
On the contrary, it's because I'm her sister. I'm obligated to take away what is hers. But didn't you give her this? I don't understand. Didn't you give her this though?
物質的なものも精神的なものもその全てを踏みにじらなければ気が済まない。
What? But you gave it to her in the first place. I won't stop until I crush every last thing she holds physically and emotionally dear.
尺度として言うなら、もし青子がこの町に頼っていたのなら、まず町から壊していたぐらい。
What did she do to you? Jeez. For instance, if she has come to rely on the city, then I will happily go so far as to destroy it.
けど、君のことは予想外だった。
But you... I wasn't expecting you. Toko, her eyes closed, felt sorrow. Behind her troubled expression, there was a silent conflict.
世の平等に起こるべきか、偶然の出会いとやらに嘆くべきか。これも抑止力というやつかな。
What is that? What is that? Some kind of world-building lore thing? I don't know if I should rage at the impartiality of the world, or lament the serendipity of life. I suppose it's all part of the counterforce.
無垢な部外者を手にかけるのは世の常だが、この手合いにあったのは初めてだ。
Innocent outsiders get killed all the time in this world of ours. But I've never met anyone quite like you.
いや、そもそもいるなどと考えたことすらなかったな。
Are we gonna get a Sojiro reveal? What is up with him? Or rather, never imagined a guy like you could exist. Toko sighed at the ceiling and stirred in her seat. She seemed to have overcome an unexpected moment of uncertainty.
君は青子の切り札には見えない。
You don't look like Aoko's ace in the hole.
排除しておくまでもない。善良かつ無能な部外者だ。
You're just a dim but nice stranger. Too pitiful to put out of his misery.
だから放っておきたいのだけど、私の六感がこう告げているんだ。
Huh.
君を逃がすな。いいからさっさと済ませてしまえ。
Ah, she's aware of his fucking plot importance. But just as I want to just leave you be, my sixth sense is screaming that I should erase you now and be done with it. More plainly put, she had made up her mind to kill him. Though Sojiro was somewhat flattered at how grossly she inflated his importance, he was struck more by the karmic irony. Toko had arrived at the same conclusion as her sister. Yeah, that is true. However, this was no time for idle thoughts. Sojiro readied himself to stand up from the sofa in such a way as to not draw attention to the plan so clearly written all over his face, to make a run for it.
バカ者。こういう時は半端に動くな。逃げるならさっさと逃げる。交渉するならテコでも動くな。
Silly boy. Don't give yourself away like that. If you're going to run, then run. But if you value your life, then don't move a muscle.
なんというか、そんな風に動かれると、その気がなくともつい反応してしまうだろう。ほら、命が惜しいのなら、おとなしく固まっていなさい。
In other words, you won't make it halfway to the door before I get you. No, be a good boy and sit still.
殺さないんですか？
So you're not gonna kill me?
今のところはね。私は君が気に入ったし。
For the time being, I like you, kid.
いや、違うな。正しくはこう。私ぐらいしか君を救ってあげられないのかも。かな。
Well, not exactly. The truth is, I might be the only one who can save you.
はい。
What?
Oh, she's gonna offer him a deal with the devil type thing to get out of his whole stuff with Aoko, with like being trapped here. She looked at the perplexed Sojiro straight in the eyes. Though actually brown, her eyes gleamed a piercing red, like the edge of a blade. Damn! More like blue. It was at this moment an overwhelming sense of dizziness overcame Sojiro. His mind went numb, like he couldn't tell who he was. It was like drifting into a sinister sleep from which he'd never wake. Sojiro clenched his jaw, desperate to maintain consciousness. Toko's eyes devoured him like a bottomless pit of quicksand. In that moment, it all became clear to him. It no longer mattered that she was Aoko's sister, or that she was Alice's sworn enemy. Toko and Aozaki's deadly battle with the girls had become his battle. Ooh. Which is why, when you find yourself feeling a special spark for a stranger met mere moments ago, that feeling is not to be trusted. Oh, wow. You may simply be attempting to fill a void shaped like yourself, with more emptiness. Sojiro tried to drag his body away from this heretofore unencountered sense of danger, found that it would not respond. Toko tilted her head forward at him, eyes fixated on his.
君の思う通り、私は君と似たところがある。それとも君が私に近いのかな。何？食べ物の好き嫌い程度の類似だが、軽視することでもない。
So, it feels like Sojiro is actually a mage, but he somehow forgot. Or something. I don't know. He has like a sealed ability, is basically what it feels like. That he is 100% unaware of. Like maybe he was raised by an old mage in the mountains that like imparted to him some secret technique that without him realizing it. That's what it feels like it would be. Your instincts weren't wrong. You do have something in common with me. Or maybe you're just close to me. Maybe we're picky about all the same foods. It's something to consider.
問題は、君が私より偏っているということでね。
The problem is, you're more biased than I am. Biased. She clearly used a different definition of the word than the one Sojiro knew. Biased towards a type of magic. Biased. It meant that he was alone. That he was an outsider who didn't belong in this town. A sudden seething anger eclipsed his gentle heart.
俺、一人じゃないですけど。
But I'm not alone.
Sojiro shot back with all the enmity he could muster as he faced this witch named Toko Ozaki. If he had not, he feared he would never escape her gaze.
だろうな。だからこそ君は偏っているんだ。早くそれに気づきなさい。一番手っ取り早い解決は、それでいいんだと認めることだ。
See? That's precisely what makes you biased. And the sooner you realize that, the better. It's the fastest way out of your predicament.
人間なんてたくましいもんでね。別に何もかも放り投げてもうまくいくものなのさ。
Humans are hardy creatures. No matter what life throws at them, they find a way to survive.
けれど、青子にはそれは許せない。あれは他人であれ、あらゆることを許さない人間だからな。
She's too pretty to be evil. But Aoko can't tolerate them because she's the sort of stranger who can't stand anything. Toko leaned over the table. She reached out, grabbed Sojour's collar, and roughly pulled him toward her. Oh!
いや、そんなことはいいんだ。
Oh,
た
wow!
だ純粋に私は君が欲しいと思った。君
But
が
enough about
自
her.
分の名前すら定かではないと名乗った時にね。
All I care about is getting to have you. In fact, I wanted you from the moment you mumbled your name like it's not even yours.
自分の認識が不明で自分自身が不能と感じる。
Wow! Okay. Wow, she switches gears really fast. Oh my god. I want you with your lack of self-awareness and your sense of powerlessness.
未来というものがとても自分に関わりのあることとは思えない。となれば必然、心情は過去への逆行を試みる。
The future must seem like such a foreign concept to someone like you. Your mind inevitably looks to the past.
しかし、所詮ソアの前のモアのように正常な流れの前には時間旅行は押し戻されてしまう。
But just as moi, the lesser self, comes before soi, the greater self, the normal flow of time will always reject time travel. What is she,
それも私にあって君にあるものだ。
what is she talking about now? It feels like she's aware of a lot that we aren't, as the audience. It's the same for me as it is for you.
なんて無様な私。なんて哀れな。
I've done it again, haven't I? How could you possibly even begin to... Toko trailed off mid-sentence. As she pulled Sojiro closer, her own eyes reflected in his, she noticed the mirthful expression on her face. Sojiro got to thinking. He held no hostility towards this woman. He bore her no grudge, harbored no desire to kill her. He was aware only of his anger and aimless compassion. He wished that he could give her the answer she wanted. But
あなたの言っていることはよくわからない。
I don't really know what you're talking about.
is she after some kind of artifact? Sojiro replied apologetically. A verbal reply to the visible question he perceived in her eyes. Toko showed no sign of disappointment. Instead, the corners of her lips turned upward in delight.
そうか。君には言葉の暗示は通じないんだな。
Of course. You wouldn't comprehend the language of magecraft.
意味深なセリフ回しで丸飲みにしてやろうとも思ったが、いや失敗。小綺麗な建前は逆効果だった。君にはむき出しの原始的な語りの方が良かったんだな。
And here I am trying to wax philosophical to you. How foolish of me. Small courtesies can have the opposite effect after all. I should have put it in plainer, more primitive terms.
いいよ。ますます気に入った。
Oh, I do like you, Sojiro. Her fingers dug into his throat as she were tearing at the leather. My god! Perhaps he could be hers if only she could rip it off.
少年、青子なぞより私のもとに来い。
Sweet boy. Leave Aoko and be with me.
使い道はないが保護ぐらいはしてやろう。手が空いた時なら気晴らしに愛してやってもいい。
I may not have a use for you, but at least I can protect you. Or maybe if I'm bored, you could be my plaything. It had taken many approaches, but she seemed to have decided on this one. The lengths to which she went to seduce him were not lost on Sojiro, and truth be told, they were not wholly unwelcome.
I'm considering it.
But back to the matter at hand.
それはお断りします。
I respectfully decline.
Sojiro chose the direct response as he did.
なぜ？
Why?
だってあなたのためにならない。
Because it wouldn't be good for you.
He had confidence in that, at least. What does that mean? Sounds like a threat. Toko's overestimation of him aside, Sojiro knew for a fact that he had to escape this woman's clutches. This tete-a-tete could only be concluded by one of its two participants, Toko, or the individual she was currently infatuated with. On a hunch, the boy mustered all the conviction he could feign. She gently removed her hand from his collar and jabbed him in the chest, causing him to topple back onto the sofa.
そうか。なら仕方がない。
Very well. If that's the way it must be.
君も青子の大切な持ち物として考えることにしよう。
I'll just have to think of you as Aoko's personal property then. The scarred red mage quietly stood up.
青子が帰ってくる頃だから私は行くよ。
Wait, how could she tell the scars on her fingers? She's wearing gloves. Well, Aoko will be here any moment. I'd best be on my way.
青子では私には勝てないとだけ伝えておいてくれればいい。
She has no chance of defeating me. Tell her that for me, won't you?
それはいいんですけど。
Sure, but
Before she left the room, Toko paused to let Sojiro continue. Like a student humbly inquiring of a teacher, Sojiro pointed to the object in Toko's hand and asked,
そのカップどうするんです？
what are you gonna do with that cup?
Surprised, she looked down at the teacup in her right hand that she had forgotten she was holding. She hadn't even realized that she'd been holding the cup the entire time.
これ？うん。せっかくだからもらっていく。
Oh, damn. Oh, this. Oh, I might as well take it with me. The act of taking something without the owner's permission is commonly referred to as theft. However, this was more like the typical relationship between Aoko and Toko. Share and share alike, and so forth. Sojiro nodded to show that he understood. Unsure if his nod was sincere or not, Toko smiled that gleeful grin for the second time since taking her glasses off.
やはり変わり種だね、君は。逸材かどうかは別の話だが。
You certainly are an odd one. The question of your worth aside. For just a moment, she had returned to the affable Toko Ozaki he met before the glasses came off. Leaving him with the image of her smile, she departed the mansion. Her broken glasses remained on the drawing room table.
Tadaima!
We're home! No sooner had the eerie visitor left did Aoko and Alice return home. Despite Aoko's sour mood, she seemed as merry as ever. Despite everything that had happened and their trip having its fair share of problems, she still had fun. Whereas Alice was her usual stoic self, her manner not unlike a parent falling behind a rampaging toddler, cleaning up their mess. The scene of their return was something like it's out of a TV sitcom, and lost in thought, Sojiro forgot to greet them.
Sojiro, 留守中何かあった?
Did anything happen while we were out, Sojiro? Did anything happen while we were out, Sojiro? Aoko asked, more so out of etiquette than curiosity, while removing her coat. Without answering, he stood up from the sofa.
そりゃ半日分の出来事はあったけど
Yeah, it took up half of my day, actually.
それより寒かっただろう。お茶を入れようか。
Other than that, it was just cold. Want me to make some tea?
ああ、お願い。こっちも一から作戦練り上げようってとこだから。
Yes, please. You can't plan anything without a hot cup of tea in your hands. Sojiro was on his way to the kitchen to prepare the tea, even before Aoko had finished her upbeat response.
なんだろう。どこか変だ。
Wait a minute. Something feels off.
He was following the same tea brewing routine as always, but somehow something did not feel the same. As though in a trance, Sojiro returned to the drawing room where they were settling down, and placed the tea on the table.
これからどうするつもりなの、アオコ。
What do you intend to do now, Aoko?
とりあえず足で探すしかないわね。あいつ相手に守りに入るのは良くない。こっちが城壁を作ってる間に一個師団の人形をこさえかねないわ。
We'll have to search for her on foot. We can't play this one defensively. If we spend more time fortifying defenses here, she'll just have more time to create more puppets. They conversed with each other while ignoring Sojiro's presence. Upon hearing what they said, he stood up and spoke abruptly.
探すってトウコさんを
Are you going to look for Miss Toko?
Oh my god, he's just gonna say that without explaining what happened.
それ以外誰を探すって。
Yeah, who else would he be?
ちょっと、あんた今なんて言ったの？
Wait, what did you just say?
トウコさんなんだろ青崎たちの敵は。さっきまでここにいたよ。
Toko, she's your enemy, right? You just missed her.
He answered so casually. Aoko stood there dumbfounded. Goddamn typos. Alice stood up from the sofa and went to where the two of them were standing. Her typically kind and somber features turned reproachful.
しずきくん、その人何かしていった？
Suzuki, tell me exactly what she did when she was here.
お茶を飲んでメガネを外して帰っていっただけだけど。
We drank some tea and then she...
あれ、よく思い出せないな。
Oh wow. Okay, so so she's actually a master of memory stuff. Oh. Huh. Interesting. That is interesting. So she's able to do the memory stuff a lot easier than they are.
We drank some tea, then she took off her glasses. Huh? I can't remember anything after that.
What was once a clear memory seemed to have been scrubbed clean from his mind. Sojiro was overcome by the same dizziness he had felt earlier. A sharp, dry smack echoed throughout the room. What snapped him out of his haze was an unexpected slap from Alice.
二度は言わないわ。他人を私の家に立ち入らせないで。
Oh, wow.
I won't warn you again. Never let anyone else into my house.
Wow. Deep within her eyes, beyond the normal cool indifference, was an intense fury. Realizing, however, that it was no ordinary anger, Sojiro understood how careless he had been.
すまない。アリスにとってここが大事な場所なのは分かってたのに。
I'm sorry. This place is very important to you. I should have known better.
A heavy silence followed. Both Sojiro and Alice stood there, chained to the spot by their own regret. Aoko looked on in amazement, wondering if they would stay that way all night if left alone.
あのね、姉貴を通した宗十郎も悪いけど、言ってなかったアリスも悪いでしょ。
So, hey. I know Sojiro screwed up by letting my sister in, but Alice, you never told him he shouldn't.
子供じゃないんだから、いつまでも反省してないで、もっと前向きに話をしない？
We're not children anymore, so how about we put this behind us and focus on the problem at hand, okay? Alice hung her head and sat back down at Aoko's insistence. Wow. Sojiro stood where he was, nursing a stinging right cheek. Pain was pain, but he knew how to take a knock. More to the point, the crisp strike from Alice snapped him out of his fog, jogging his memory. That actually goes to show that Alice really respects Sojiro a lot, because beforehand, the Alice from the beginning of the story would have just done some magic on him, like killed him or put him inside a bottle or something like that. But no, she's like treating him as like someone that she respects and showing how much she was hurt by that, and like what difference of what she expected from him. It's really interesting how quickly Alice has warmed up to him. More to the point, the crisp strike from Alice snapped him out of his fog, jogging his memory.
思い出した。青子じゃ私には勝てないって伝えておいてほしいって。
I remember. She told me to tell you that you have no chance of defeating her, Aoko.
大した自信ね。他には？
Pretty full of herself. Anything else?
他は基本的に世間話だったというか、あ、ソアとかモアとかよくわからないことを口にしてたな。
She also said...
Exactly, display. Yeah.
Well, most of it was small talk. To be honest, she said a lot of other stuff I didn't really understand.
Considering the small talk was mostly about Aoko and her flaws, Sojiro thought it'd be better to take that part to his grave.
タイガとショウガ？あの人、インドにでも行ってたのかしら？
She mentioned the greater unless herself. I wonder if she's been to India.
ところで宗十郎、あんた、姉貴に何かされたわね。
In case you didn't catch on, Sojiro, she must have done something to you. Aoko turned to him, glaring sharply. He had nothing to be ashamed of, but he looked away guiltily anyway.
何かって何さ？
She did? What did she do exactly?
思い出せないとか言ってたでしょ？さっきまでの態度もふわふわしてたし。そうか。メガネを外したまでは覚えてたってことは、魔眼にでも見入られたか。
Oh, that was what the Sharingan thing was. I see. You said you couldn't remember what she said, right? And up until a second ago, you looked like a zombie. I see. You remember right up to when she took her glasses off, which means you must have been entranced by her mystic eyes. As quickly as she had jumped to that conclusion, Aoko went quiet again, as if the information was of little importance. But it was not enough to detract Sojiro from bringing it up again.
青崎、魔眼ってなんだ？
Alzaki? What are mystic eyes?
魔力を帯びた目のことよ。簡単なものは一時的な混乱を、上級なものは睨んだだけで相手を殺すとかね。
Damn. Eyes infused with magical energy. Simple forms of mystic eyes can cause temporary confusion, while more advanced ones can kill with just a glance. Stuff like that.
バロールみたいな魔眼の持ち主なんて伝説だけだろうし、そもそもそんな魔眼持ちが生まれてくるなら、私たちの悩みもあっさり終わるってものだけど。
Eyes like Balor's are really just the stuff of legends. If there were eyes like that, we could really use them right about now. Who is Balor? Is that from a legend I'm not aware of? I assume so. Without further context, Aoko knew her explanation was completely lost on Sojiro.
そうね。
So... yeah.
わかりやすく言うと、私の魔弾みたいなのを目から照射するようなもんよ。
To put it simply, it's like my magic bullet. Only you use your eyes to shoot it.
目から？青崎か。
You can shoot bullets from your eyes?
Eye laser. Haven't you ever heard of eye laser, Sojiro? Sojiro's confusion deepened along with Aoko's frustration.
だから、あなた、一度目を閉じた後のトウコの目を見たんでしょ？その一瞬で姉貴の魔眼に捕まったってこと。
Anyway, you looked into Toko's eyes after she blinked once, right? That's the moment she put the whammy on you with her mystic eyes!
目を猫名詞に入れ替える魔術師もいるけど、姉貴はそんなことする必要はないから。
Some mages even replace their eyes with cat's eye stones. My sister doesn't need to bother with that.
あの人、生まれながらの魔眼持ちだしね。刺したる準備も栄唱もなしで、シャッターするだけで切り替え自由なの。
Oh, wow. She was born with hers. She doesn't even need to say anything to use them. She can just blink like a camera shutter. Sojiro pounded his fist in understanding. Now that he thought about it, he vaguely remembered her doing something exactly like that. Everything after was foggy and muddled, and her mystic eyes seemed like the only logical cause.
その話は分かったけど、
Well, that's one mystery solved.
瞳子さんは青崎のお姉さんなんだろ？なんで姉妹で殺し合いをしてるんだ？
But Aozaki, isn't she your sister? Why would sisters try to kill each other?
He knew it was not something he should ask, but he did anyway. The question was against the rules. He had no business being involved in this dispute. Aoko closed her eyes to collect her thoughts. She decided it was best for all involved to at least share some background information, if only to head off further questions.
いいわ、話してあげる。姉貴に関わった以上、事情を説明しておかないと危ないし。
Here we go. Fine. Here's what you need to know now that you've met her. Besides, keeping you in the dark would have been more dangerous.
けど、なんであれ聞き返すのはなしね。この件に関しては、私は私の事情を話すだけだから。
But no more questions. This is my story to tell, got it? She stared down Soder until he nodded slowly in recognition. Knowing him, she knew this was confirmation enough. The conversation was becoming oddly friendly again, but Aoko sat up a little straighter as she prepared to tell the tale.
姉貴の話をするってことは、私と青崎の家の話と、何より魔術と魔法の話をしないといけない。
Before we talk about my sister, I have to explain the Aozaki family, and more importantly, magecraft versus magic.
少し遠回りになるし、多言無用な内容だけど、いずれあんたの記憶は消えるから問題ないってことで。
We're gonna cover a lot of ground and it'll include stuff you can't tell anyone. But we can always wipe your memories later, so it's fine. Aoko made sure to add that disclaimer as a condition for telling him the information in the first place.
魔術っていうのはね、宗十郎。いわば共通のルールなのよ。
You see, Sojiro, magecraft follows a set of common rules.
ルーンやカバラといった魔術系統は、それぞれの科目、世界共通のマニュアルだと思えばいい。
There are different schools of magecraft, such as runes or Kabbalah. Think of them as different textbooks or manuals that the whole world uses.
教科書さえきちんと持っているのなら、あとは血脈次第で誰でも魔術師にはなれるわ。
Anyone that has a proper textbook and a suitable bloodline can become a mage.
けど、魔法を使うのは別。
But using magic is something else entirely.
魔法は魔術みたいに根源の渦から派生した写本じゃなくて、根源の渦に直接つながるものだから。
Magic, true magic, isn't just some manuscript derived from the swirl of the root, like magecraft is. But something that comes directly from the root itself. What is the root?
この根源の渦っていうのは、
Yeah.
宗十郎の分かるレベルに落とし込むと、まあ太陽みたいなものと考えて。
As for the swirl of the root, well, the simplest way I can describe it so you'll understand is to compare it to the sun.
遠くにあって何より初めにあるもので、それなくしては私たちは生活できないと言った。
The sun is really far away and has been there from the beginning as far as we're concerned. Without it, you and I wouldn't be able to live.
魔術っていうのはこの太陽からの恩恵を利用しただけのものよ。
Magecraft merely lets us take advantage of the sun's benefits, so to speak.
自然現象の模倣ないし代償が魔術の本質だから。神秘を学び実践し再現するけど、神秘そのものを作ることはできない。
Magecraft is all about imitating or paying for natural phenomena. We can use it to study, practice, and recreate mysteries. But we can never truly create them.
いえ、研究の末にたどり着くんでしょうけど、そこには大きな壁がある。人知では越えられないリミッターみたいな壁がね。
Actually, no matter how much you learn, you eventually hit a wall. It's like a limiter that human knowledge can never overcome.
で、魔法っていうのは太陽そのものを扱うこと。
And beyond that wall is where magic, the sun itself, exists.
誰にも到達できない場所に行って、
To attain it means to go where no one can go,
何者にも真似できない奇跡を起こす。
and awaken miracles no one could possibly reproduce.
お金をかけようが時間をかけようが、今の人類には到達できない技術。それが魔法。
A technique to make things happen that humanity could never hope to accomplish with any amount of time or resources. That's true magic.
次元の壁を越えるっていうか、最後まで走ってみたら全く違うルールでできた世界があって、そのルールを学んじゃったってとこかしら。
Sounds like some kind of eldritch knowledge here. So, Magecraft, I'm just trying to parse it, is like solar panels, basically. Using the energy that's dispersed from the root in ways we know how, and converting it into things that we know, like powering different computers or objects or things like that. While true magic would be controlling the sun itself. It's about overcoming that dimensional wall. Like running until you reach the end where you'll find a world with completely different rules from ours. That's the only way you can, well, learn it.
前に魔術に限界はないって言ったでしょ。あれは人知の及ぶ範囲なら限界はないって意味ね。
I told you before that Magecraft has no limits, right? Well, I meant that it has no limits within the scope of human knowledge.
対して魔法は限界だらけ。っていうか、一つのことしかできないけど、それも当然なの。だって、この宇宙の仕組みから仲間外れの一つっきりの交点なんだから。
Meanwhile, magic has lots of limits, actually. It can only do one thing and one thing alone. Makes sense, right? I mean, we're talking about unique world-breaking concepts and mechanisms that exist outside the boundaries of the very universe.
魔術より魔法の方がすごいというのは流れ的にわかるんだけど。
So, magic is more amazing than Magecraft. I think I get the general idea, but
限界だらけなんだよな。
it's really limited?
限界っていうか、特例、特権、越権の類ね。
Kinda. It's more like an exception, a special privilege, or an abuse of power. Admin rights, basically, it seems.
汎用性はないけど、誰にもできないことを可能とする時点で、魔術世界にとっては万能とされる。
It sounds far too dangerous to even attempt. Jeez. It's not versatile, but in making the impossible possible. It's all powerful as far as Magecraft is concerned.
そもそも魔法は根源の渦にたどり着いた魔術師へのご褒美みたいなもので、たとえその術者に魔法を使うだけの肉体性能がなくても、根源へのパスができただけで、魔術的にはやりたい放題ってわけ。
Magic is like a reward a mage gets when reaching the swirl of the root. And that even goes for mages who don't possess the metal to wield it. Just making a path to the root gives them free reign to use it, in Magecraft terms.
要は、地球で一番のお金持ちになるってこと。
In short, it's like becoming the richest person in the world. Sojiro made an appreciative sound, impressed. On the other hand, Alice looked as though she wished to make many revisions to Aoko's account.
一番の大金持ちか。じゃあどんなにお金持ちでも一番目でない以上は魔法はもらえないんだな。
The richest person in the world? In which case, does it mean that no matter how rich you are, Only the richest person gets to have magic?
まあそういうこと。
I guess so, sure.
時々とんでもない角度で確信をつくわねこいつ。あんたの言う通り、同じルート同じ方法で根源にたどり着いても1番目じゃないと魔法にはたどり着けない。
Sometimes you sure get to the right conclusion in the weirdest of places. It's like you said, there are many routes and theories to reach the root. But unless you first to the post, magic will elude you.
Is it like granting a wish? It seems like you only get one shot based on how it says. Has anyone ever reached it before?
どんなに優れていても2番目以降には意味がないのよ。
No matter how good you are, if you're not the first, you're everyone else.
魔法使いが5人。いえ、4人か。
There are only 5, no, 4 magicians.
現存する魔法使いが4人しかいないのは、一度使われたルートは閉ざされてしまうから。
Damn.
And there are only 4 because once that path to the root has been taken by one magician, it's closed off to all others.
大昔はそうでもなかったって話だけどね。
But it... So shouldn't there only be one then?
How does that work? Does she mean 4 living ones?
But it wasn't always like that in ancient times.
根源への道、真理への到達に壁を作ったのは、皮肉なことに人間自身だった。
Ironically, mankind is responsible for closing off the paths to the root. We built walls that stand between us and the truth.
未知を解明すればするほどルートが閉じていくなんて、昔の魔術師たちは思いもしなかったんでしょう。
The mages of old could never have imagined that the more we explored the unknown, the more paths we would seal off.
でも結果はこの通り。気がついた時には後の祭りっていうか、多くの研鑽の末、この世から魔法は消えていっちゃったわけ。
But the result was exactly that. And by the time they realized it was too late. After all that studying, true magic had all but disappeared from the world.
それは山と町の関係に似てると思っていいのかな。
Huh. So it's kind of like how the city has dwarfed the countryside then.
ミクロな視点で言うなら似たようなものよ。
In a microscopic sense, that example works.
で、つい最近まで現代の魔術師たちは残された最後の席を求めていたけど、それもちょっと前にどこぞの田舎者が横取りしちゃって、イス取りゲームはあえなく終了。
So, up until recently, modern mages have been vying for that final seat in a game of magical musical chairs. But some country bumpkin snapped it up a while ago. So their little race is over.
あとは魔法抜きで根源にたどり着くため、地味で無意味な魔術の研究を続けることになった。
After that, all further research into the root was limited to mundane and meaningless magecraft.
もともと魔法なんてのを優先してたのは一部の魔術師だけで、他の真っ当な連中はとっくに見切りをつけてたんだけどね。
Though only a small fraction of mages were chasing magic anyway. While the rest had already thrown in the towel.
だって魔術師にとって最終目的は根源の渦への到達であって魔法じゃないし。
Magic gained from reaching the swirl of the root isn't necessarily a mage's only goal.
そのあたりいつの間にかごっちゃになっちゃったんでしょ。卵が先か鶏が先かって話。
But that's a whole other convoluted mess in itself. Chicken or the egg dilemma, if you will.
よし、全くわからないってことは分かったんで、そろそろ本題に入ってくれ。
Okay. Well, I at least understand that I understand absolutely nothing. Do you mind if we get to that point?
This takes place in 1989, I've heard, Lestat.
あ、けど 一番目の人間しか魔法使いになれないのに、魔法使いは何人もいるのか？
Thank you, Sojiro. That's what I was wondering too.
Oh, right. How can there be multiple wielders of true magic if only the first one there can learn it?
5人いたわ。最終的に人間に残される最後の課題は5つだろうって一番初めの。
Well, there were 5 of them at one time. There were 5 final tasks left to humanity. So the first. Wait, left to humanity by who?
青子。
Aoko?
じゃあ本題ね。
Right. To the point.
魔法と魔術の関係が分かったところで、ようやくうちの話になるんだけど。
Now that I've explained the relationship between magecraft and magic, I can finally talk about my family.
青崎の家が代々魔術師だったのは前に言ったでしょ。
Remember when I mentioned the Yaozaki family has been mages for generations?
歴史的には浅いけど、運と才能には恵まれていたのね。
Our history isn't ancient, but we've been blessed with good luck and talent.
青崎はなんだかんだって魔法にまでたどり着いたんだから。
Because somehow or another, an Ozaki finally attained true magic. Wait, when?
ちょっと待った。
What?
じゃあ青崎がその
So one of the 4 is from her family. Was that her grandfather?
Hold on just a second. Alzaki, so you mean...
私はあくまで魔術師見習い。
I'm an apprentice mage, nothing more.
使えないし、使う気もないわよ、魔法なんて。私はただ、青崎の家を継いだだけだもの。
I can't wield magic, nor do I want to. I'm just a successor to the Ozaki family. So, is the Ozaki family crest the key to that? I assume that she inherited that from her grandfather. But then, didn't the sister, like, if she's after that, wasn't it her, like, birthright originally? I don't understand. Like, it feels like she gave it up and now she's taking it back. Like, did something happen to her that she, like, changed her mind in some way? Aoko asserted obtusely, her voice devoid of emotion. She became a mage not to wield magic, but simply because the succession of her family's magecraft was forced on her.
とにかく。
Anyway, I got to, I'll hold off. I'll be right back, okay? Just... Alright, back. Sorry about that. Anyway.
根源の渦にたどり着くには何代も何代も魔術を研究しなくちゃいけない。自分独自の川を作るようなものなんだから、もちろんその過程は果てがない。
In order to reach the swirl of the root, generations upon generations of mages have to dedicate their lives to research. Since every special snowflake is trying a unique approach and doesn't want to share, it obviously takes forever.
よほどの添付か典型でもない限り、魔法を作るなんてできないしね。
At any rate, you can't create magic unless you have the innate ability to, or through some sort of divine intervention.
そしてもし根源にたどり着いても、ふさわしい後継者がいなければ、一代限りの奇跡で終わってしまう。
Just making it to the root isn't enough. If you lack a worthy heir to pass it on to, the miracle stops there. Someone for your lineage.
だから魔術師は血脈を重ねて、代々の魔力を時代に積み重ねていく。自分より優れた後継者を生むために。
Damn. That's cold. Wow. That probably leads to some very unhappy families. That's why mages cultivate their bloodlines. To pass magical energy from one generation to the next, and to create an heir more powerful than oneself. Aoko wrapped up the explanation by remarking that it was like producing a thoroughbred. Ooh. Ooh. Wow. Not that Serdar knew what a thoroughbred was to begin with. Leaving him as perplexed at the end of the story as he was at the beginning.
そうやって代を重ねて、魔術師は作り上げた独自の神秘、守り続けた魔術を次の世代に伝えていくの。
Hello, Nodder. Welcome to the stream. Hello, Saw. Several mages pass along their uniquely created mystics to later generations, protecting their legacy in the process.
きっと最後の最後に、すべての疑問を打ち消すに足る答えがあるはずだって。
Hello, Samuel. Welcome to the stream. And at the very end, they say there should be an answer sufficient enough to satisfy all our questions.
でも魔術師、いえ、魔法使いだって、みんな悟ってるのよ。
But you see, mages, no, magicians too, all understand one very important thing.
自分の代でも、その次の代でも、きっと最後の最後の最後まで、誰もゴールにはたどり着けないって結末を。
Their own generation, and every single one thereafter, will all die before they ever reach their ultimate goal. Hello, Dr. Philly Joel, welcome to the stream. So this is something that wouldn't be until far in the future.
それを分かっていながら、魔術を研究していくのが、神秘学に取り憑かれたものの宿命だって、祖父はよく口にしてた。
My grandfather was used to say there was the destiny of those who obsessed over mystics to end up learning only magecraft.
けど、私の姉はそうじゃなかったみたい。
Funny how my sister didn't turn out like that. She left I can see why hanging in the air. Alice had no response. The Ozaki family, passing down true magic. Aoko, the reluctant successor. And Toko Ozaki, her elder sister.
本当は、青崎の後継者は姉貴だった。
Actually, my sister was the Ozaki heir.
私もうちの家業が何であるかは教えられてきたけど、実践することはなかったのよ。
They told me about the family legacy, but I never had to learn any of it.
魔術師の家系はよっぽど裕福でもない限り、基本的に一子相伝だからね。うち、ほんと財力的には一般家庭レベルだし。
For mage lineages, unless they're super rich, they usually only raise one heir. I guess that wasn't the case for an average income household like ours.
で、後継者にはより魔術に適したものが選ばれるわけだけど、姉貴は確かに天才だった。
Successors are supposed to be chosen based on their affinity for magecraft. And in that sense, my sister was definitely a prodigy.
けどそれは、 青崎の後継者にはいらない才能だった。
But her talent just wasn't fit for an heir, for whatever reason.
その代わり私は心底青崎の後継者としてふさわしかったみたい。
Instead, I turned out to be more suited to succeed it.
まあそれはそれでどうも思わないけど、祖父がはっきりと私にくら替えしたのが15歳の冬の頃でさ。
And while I don't really agree with him, my grandfather seemed dead set on switching it over to me during the winter when I was 15.
姉貴はいきなり4つ年下で今まで魔術に関わってなかった妹に魔法の相続権利を奪われたってわ
Oh
けよ。
shit. Oh my god. Ah. So it's just this stupid bullshit. Oh man. Oh my god. To my sister, I suddenly stole her entire birthright, while not only being 4 years younger, but also lacking any magical knowledge. That is so sad, though.
そうか。
Oh my god.
I see. So that's why.
Toko has said that she was obligated to take what was Aoko's. He recalled how resentful her voice had been when she said it.
あの人がどんな思いをしたか私は本人じゃないから知らないけど。
I'm not her, so I don't know how she feels about this whole thing.
祖父と言い争って今まで愛用してたメガネを叩き壊して家を出て行ったのが3年と半年前。
It's been 3.5 years since she fought with grandfather, smashed her glasses and left our home.
それから全く消息なしで私は姉の代わりになったの。これが私と姉貴の争う原因でしょうね。
No one has heard from her since then, and I became a replacement. I guess this is why we're squabbling. Sojiro thought the story was tragic. It is tragic, but Aoko's voice had a tone of relief in it. Sojiro did not know exactly who he should feel bad for anymore.
メガネを壊したか。
She broke her glasses?
そう。あの人、昔はすっごく目が良かった。生まれながら魔眼を持ってたって化け物だからね。
Correct. Her eyesight has always been perfect. The bitch was even born with mystic eyes.
けど、祖父の期待に応えようとして、無理して頑張った挙句、視力が下がっちゃったみたい。
Oh my god, wow, this is a very this is a very sad story. But in trying to live up to grandfather's expectations, she probably overdid it and her eyes suffered as a result. Oh wow. Aoko wrestled with the memory, not sure if she had everything down exactly right. Sojiro knew how well Aoko could hide her emotions, and this was not one of these moments.
けど、あれに何の意味があったんだろう。
You know, now that I think of it, was Toko trying to give him a message?
メガネをジジイに叩きつけるぐらいなら、フィンの一撃でも叩き込めばよかったのに。
Why did she throw her glasses at my grandfather when she could have just smoked him with a single fin shot?
あの人、あの頃が才能のピークだったんだし、猛録したジジイなんて、それこそ一撃だったと思うんだけど。
She was in her prime back then, so she could have wiped a senile old man out in an instant if she had wanted to. Sojiro shook his head, disappointed at Aoko's misjudgment of the situation.
恨みつらみの話じゃない。
This isn't about any grudge.
そのメガネは大事なものだったんだ。だってそれは誰にだってわかる努力の証なんだから。
Oh.
Those glasses, they were important to her. It was a symbol of all our efforts that everyone could see.
それを叩きつけたんだ。痛かったんだろうな、トウコさんは。思い出を自分で壊さなくちゃいけないくらいに。
To break them like that. It must have been painful. Painful enough for her to feel like she had to break them.
As Sojiro spoke, neither Aoko nor Alice noticed the grief he was fighting to hold in. Oh, wait, well, I don't understand how they don't. It's pretty clear. Or more accurately, they could not understand his point of view. After all, in a world where mages are raised to fight other mages, empathy was in short supply.
けどどうして今頃になって戻ってきたのかしら。青子の言う通り、瞳子さんならもっと早く美咲氏を奪えたのに。
I wonder why she chose to come back now. Like Aoko said, Toko could have taken Misaki City anytime she wanted to.
そうね。そんなに土地が欲しかったのなら3年前に私を殺せば後継者に戻れたのに。
That's right. If she wanted this land so badly, she could have come back 3 years ago, killed me and reclaimed her rights.
世間の荒波に揉まれて気が変わったとか？
Maybe she had a change of heart after seeing the world. I don't know.
違う。青崎は本当にわからないのか。
You really don't get it, do you, Asaki?
Sojiro shook with a faint anger. His voice changed from the boy they thought they knew.
何よ。あんたならわかるっていうの？
誰だってわかる。
Yes, like anyone would.
瞳子さんは青崎が一人前になるまで待っていたんだ。自分が失ったものと同じくらい大切なものをなくさせるために。そうしないとどうにもならない。そこまでしなくちゃいけないほどあの人の怒りは深かったんだ。
Toko was waiting for you to become a fully fledged mage so that you could lose the same thing that was stolen from her. That's how deep her hurt and hatred goes.
Sojiro gazed at them, wondering why they could not see what he could. Only, he was the one that did not understand. The two girls, and above all Toko Azaki, denied themselves the type of relationships that other normal people are allowed to experience. Toko's actions were not fueled by hatred. While there certainly was hatred behind them, the real reason was and always had been Toko's pursuit of true magic. She was an ambitious and talented mage. Her hatred was only her veneer. Thinking of her in any other way would be an insult to the elder sister who devoted her life to the study of magecraft. All of this Aoko wanted to tell Sojiro, but instead stopped herself. Even if she had, Sojiro was not a mage and could never understand. And besides, arguing with him any further would not have brought her any joy. She could not have put it into words even if she had tried. And so...
やけに姉貴の肩を持つじゃない、宗十郎。
Huh? You sure are taking your side a lot, Sojiro.
もしかして一目惚れでもした？
Could it be love at first sight? In her own cowardly way, Aoko dodged the subject. That's even sadder in a way, kind of, what she was saying. That's even sadder. She smirked childishly.
肩ぐらい持つ。あの人はかわいそうな人だからな。
I get how she feels. A little. I pity her.
Sojiro did not take the bait. Aoko was frustrated at his reply.
なぜ？
And why, may I ask? An icy glare replaced her smile. He did not falter, only plainly stating,
だって実の妹と争わなくちゃいけないんだろ。
Because she has to fight her only sister.
それはかわいそうなことじゃないのか。
That's sad, isn't it?
this was the source of his frustration.
確かにね。
It's sad, all right. Aoko's eyes narrowed unconsciously, as if hiding from a painful truth. This guy is a poison, she thought to herself. A poison with no antidote. With his words, he was unwittingly bringing her weakness to light.
だけど私も姉貴もそれを何とも思ってないのよ。
My sister and I, we don't think of it in that way, though.
だってそれ以外に解決策はないんだから。
That's even worse. Why? God. To us, this was always the way it would turn out. Sojiro looked down and frowned in defeat.
And that's sad too.
He muttered, seriously, Sojiro? Like, my God, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, so what? Like, ugh. Ay, jeez. How much is there left in this chapter? Would this be a good place to stop? I think I might stop here just because I am running out of time. But, wow, what a chapter. Oh my God. Whew, scar to scar red. My God, it is such a sad state of affairs. I wish there was a way to resolve it. I do have to go, so I will stop here for now and we'll pick it up in 2 days. But my God, that is such a horrible state of affairs. Like, I agree 100% with Sojiro. Oh my God. Like, I hope there's a way you can resolve this family issue. This is so fucked. Like, seriously. It's like, kind of almost reminds me of like, a bit of like Kung Fu Panda with the Tai Lung. Like, with the sister, she reminds me of that. It's just really, really sad. My God. Until next time, you guys. Cold Steel tomorrow, and we'll pick it up in 2 days. Until next time, I will say, so long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, good night. You're all the sweetest of hearts. See ya.